Welcome to Retirement Done Right with your hosts, David Rath and Pat Kalish, where we talk about retirement, Social Security, taxes, estate planning, wealth planning, and more. Now, on to the show.
You need some money, you have it in your retirement account, you're before the age of 59 and a half, and you don't want to take money out because you don't want the 10% penalty that is associated with early withdrawals. What can you do? Due to the ever-changing nature of the tax code, there are a whopping 21 different exceptions to the early withdrawal penalty. For starters, the 10% penalty is applied to money taken out of a retirement account, think IRA or 401k, before you turn 59 and a half. Side note, why 59 and a half? Why couldn't they just make it an even number like 60? I don't know. To make things more confusing, some of these apply just to IRAs, some to employer-sponsored plans like 401ks and 403bs, and some apply to both of them. Anyhow, rather than going through every single one of these exceptions because some of them require you to die, become disabled, or have a tax levy placed on you by the IRS, we'll go through the top 5 that apply to planning type discussions. Now, before I get started, it is highly recommended that you talk to a tax professional if you are looking to take advantage of any of these exceptions. I am not a tax professional, nor am I trying to play one on TV. This is merely for educational purposes. To start us off, the rule of 55. This is one that only applies to employer-sponsored plans like 401ks. So let's define what that rule states. If you separate from service in the year that you turn 55 or later, you can take money from that particular employer's plan penalty-free. Now, there are a few key points. It only refers to withdrawals from that plan specifically. This means if you move money from the 401k to an IRA, you lose the ability to take advantage of this exception. Another point, it only applies to the employer from which you just separated from. If you have an old plan that is collecting dust, it does not apply to that plan. Finally, some plans don't allow you to take money out before 59 and a half. So if you are choosing to go this route, make sure you check with the plan administrator or somebody from HR who can define that potential for you. Next up, substantially equal periodic payments, otherwise known as the 72T exemption. This can apply to either employer-sponsored plans or IRAs. This one is fraught with pitfalls, meaning there are certain stipulations that you have to abide by to avoid the 10% penalty. For one, when you turn this election on, you have to continue taking money from the plan for the longer of 5 years or that magic age, 59 and a half, whichever is longer. When you turn on this election, you have to make a decision about which calculation method you are going to use to establish the value of each of your substantially equal periodic payments. What a mouthful. The key point here is that whatever you choose up front, that has to be continued for the duration of this exemption, unless you want to take advantage of the one-time exemption to the exemption. That's right, like the movie Inception, there is an exemption within the exemption. Make sure you're keeping track. Number 3, first-time home purchases. This one only applies to IRAs, and there is a limit of $10,000 that you can use to apply this exception to. With home prices where they are today, $10,000, it's like a drop in the bucket, but it is better than nothing. Number 4, qualified higher education expenses. Another one that only applies to IRAs, not employer-sponsored plans. For this one, it can be for the taxpayer, the spouse of the taxpayer, or the children or grandchildren of that taxpayer. So fairly broad in the definition of who you can use this for, but make sure you're checking what qualifies as a qualified higher education expense before you hit submit on that withdrawal. Rounding out the top 5 is money to be used for unreimbursed medical expenses. This exception applies both to IRAs and 401ks or other employer-sponsored plans, but be careful, it's only for the amount above 7.5% of your adjusted gross income. If you're unsure what that number is, be sure to check with the person that prepares your taxes or check with a tax professional to determine what that number is before you submit to pay for those unreimbursed medical expenses. It is important to be aware of these exceptions as well as all of them if you are considering withdrawing money from a retirement account before the age of 59 and a half. If you are unsure about anything that you've seen in this video or what other exceptions may apply, be sure to check with a professional, someone in the tax field, or your friendly neighborhood financial advisor.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Retirement Done Right. To learn more, visit us at contwealth.com.